Hi, I'm Rick and welcome back to another one of my videos. This is a little bit of a different one. We're going to have a wander down from the Mersey, right down from Stretford side and the Sale side of the Mersey, all the way down to Ashton Upon Mersey. I'm going to show you a few little bits and pieces along the riverway. This is an historic bridge crossing of the River Mersey. If you want to find out more, please check out Paul's channel, Wicked Acorn, on his Crossford Bridge video. This bridge was widened in 1907 to cope with the volume of traffic heading in and out of central Manchester. You can walk down both sides of the river and cross over the footbridge in Ashton and walk back on the other side. The paths are well maintained, and if you like a picturesque walk, then this is a must. This is the Stretford part of the trail and runs all the way to Earlham, but we're going to set off from the Sale side.
So
I'd like you to introduce you to John here. He started to go fishing with me about 2 years ago. You might remember him from the Ashton Upon Mersey mill story, and again he's going to join me along this trip and have a look at what the condition of the river's like and what the life's like in there as well. The River Mersey starts about 4.5 miles up here towards Stockport. It starts with the River Tame and the River Goyt joining together to create this River Mersey here. We're quite lucky to live around here because it's such a place of natural beauty. The amount of wildlife and different things that you can see when you are in the area is amazing, because considering we're only just outside the centre of Manchester. This is the first time I've walked this part of the River Mersey, and I was pleasantly surprised on how easy the access is. That sound alright?
to see. Being selfish. Oh.
As we head towards Ashton, that part of the Mersey was very familiar to me growing up, and I will show you some of the lockdown beaches that people visited to get away from the mundane lives during the COVID pandemic. The water quality in the Mersey was severely affected by industrialisation, and in 1985 the Mersey Basin campaign was established to improve the water quality and encourage waterside regeneration. In 2009 it was announced that the river is cleaner than any time after the industrialisation. You got any readings off that, John?
Yeah.
What's it look like that's going in?
Clear, but it stinks. Parts per million of whatever. I think it's salts, isn't it? I think I read 0.165.
Yeah, it was just the scum that was appearing on this side near this brook, but it doesn't look like it has anything to do with this brook. I don't know, but the ducks seem to love it.
They do. They'll eat strange stuff, won't they, ducks? So confusing. This is new. I haven't seen this yet. Oh, it's been.
Fishing has become popular on some stretches of the River Mersey, and fish like perch, barbel, grayling, carp, roach, chub, trout, pike, bream and dace have been caught. Warrington Anglers Association, which me and John are members of, have fishing rights on a large section of the river throughout most of Warrington. This side of the River Mersey is very different to Warrington, as this part of the river runs into the Manchester Ship Canal near Partington, and then the river continues on its journey to Liverpool near Warrington where it widens. I've fished here before and caught chub and roach from this very spot, but that was quite a few years ago, and I don't know what it's like now, but I'm sure me and John will give it a go when the season opens sometime this year. This is Trafford Metrovics, as all you locals would recognise. It was formed in 1923 and has some great values passed on to the younger players who participate in rugby here. Looking at the website, Trafford Metrovics supports its aims. Play to win, but not at all costs. Win with dignity and lose with grace. Observe the laws and regulations of the game. Respect opponents, referees and participants. Reject cheating, racism, violence and drugs. Value volunteers and paid officials alike, and most of all, enjoy the game. Onwards down the banks of the River Mersey. We will shortly be adjacent to Ashton Upon Mersey golf course. The banks of the river along this stretch have been built up to avoid flooding in the 1970s. The grounds of the golf course used to be used for floodwater, known as an ease, just like Sale Marina is used today when we have heavy rain. This is the busy A6144, known as the Carrington Spur. It was built between February 1986 and completed in October 1987. I remember it being built. I cross this most days going to work. Heading towards the M60 at junction 8, the road has a few bumps on it. I wonder if this was caused by the old course of the river, as it used to flow along this part of the road before the river was straightened. This footbridge is a great addition to the area. It allows you to cross the river and return to Crossford Bridge on the other side of the river. When I was a lot younger, the only way to cross the river was at Crossford Bridge or the Mile Road at Flixton. In the summer, not far from here as kids, we would ford our way across the river to get on the other side at Flixton. We're going left at this bridge and then continue left down this trail to head towards a couple of beaches on the river where people used to visit during COVID and still visit today to enjoy the tranquility of the area. As we come to the stile in front of us, we're going to bear left again and continue to follow the river on our left hand side towards a natural flood basin. You can see the debris in the trees, and some of them bent over, showing the height of the floodwater and the power of the river. The track round here is very sandy due to the river depositing the sediment. I've seen people with pushchairs managing to navigate these paths and to get to one of the beaches. This is the first beach you'll come to, and is very stable and rocky. There's a mixture of old bottles, bricks and pottery with smooth surfaces due to being in the water for years. This beach was empty when I came with John.
I can tell the age difference in it. My hips are aching.
This is one of the most popular beaches that people come to enjoy being by the river. Just in front of us is the remains of an electricity pylon that used to be on the Ashton side, but now lies in the middle of the river. There's a few people here today, but I kept my distance so I didn't disturb them. I've seen some groups having barbecues and campfires in the past. There's plenty of wood around for them to do it. You need to remind yourself that the water looks clean, but it's fed by water treatment plants along its course, and in the height of flood, raw sewage enters the river. Someone had good intentions to put a bin here. However, it's overflowing and litter is now strewn everywhere, awaiting for Mother Mersey to take it away. As there's no refuse collection coming here soon, as John suggests, just take your rubbish home and dispose of it properly. I'm now heading down Banky Lane, heading towards the final beach on the Ashton on Mersey side of the river. There are a few more on the other side, but I will leave it up to you to discover them yourselves. So we go past the cricket club and then up to Ashton on Mersey Rugby Club. I'm sure a few people listening to this video have had functions there. I go to the firework display every year to join the large crowds. As you come to the end of this track, you enter where they fly the model aeroplanes on this large open field. I'm going to make my way down to the end of the field where there's a track that leads directly to the banks of the River Mersey and our final destination. If you come here, be careful of the bramble tripwires across the path. I got caught a couple of times and John fell on his back, but he was okay. And there it is, a large sandy beach with plenty of space on it. On the other bank, the sand martins are building their nests into the cliff. On this beach, there's not as much rubbish, and you can sit quietly and look at your surroundings. So there's some life left in the river. Yeah?
There you go. Come on, wake up. That's good. Got a fag in my mouth to get them.
Oh, he's got a fag in your mouth, John. I like to look at the historical elements in my videos, but when researching the Mersey, the same theme keeps occurring, and here's an example. Back in 1814, a young lady and her infant took a tragic trip to the river with a devastating outcome. An inquest was held last week in Ashton Upon Mersey before Hollins coroner upon the bodies of a young woman and her infant child found drowned in the River Mersey. It appeared that the deceased had been courted sometime by a young man by whom she had the child, and was afterwards slighted by him, and took the fatal resolution of drowning herself and the infant. The jury brought in a verdict under the circumstances of lunacy. They were both buried in one grave on Sunday. I assumed that they would be buried at St Martin's, but I couldn't find a record of burial. When you look online, there are reports of people losing their lives on various stretches of the Mersey, and my heart goes out to them and their families. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you get the chance to walk along the river, there's plenty of nature to look at. So stay safe and enjoy the metropolis just outside the suburbs of central Manchester. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any stories about the Mersey or anything that relates to its old history, just drop a line or put something in the comments box. Also, if you've got a property that you want us to investigate, I have got a team of genealogists and researchers who can help research that property. But once again, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.